Wait, NBA YoungBoy just got released from prison? There is no way this is real, but somehow it is happening. One of the most talked about rappers of our time is back on the streets, and the reason behind it? Oh, you will not believe it. This is not just a normal release. This is deep. This is shocking. And this might change everything. The courtrooms, the music industry, and the fans, everyone is talking about it. But here is the real question. Did NBA YoungBoy pull some strings behind the scenes? Did someone pay to make this happen? Or is there something even bigger going on? And before you think this is just another rumor, we have all the details. Leaked documents, inside sources, and some shocking twists that are hard to believe. So sit tight, grab your popcorn, and get ready for the craziest story of the year. Because if what we have found is true, this could be the biggest scandal in hip-hop history. NBA YoungBoy's release from prison was not just a legal battle. It was a power move. And if you think he just got lucky, you are not ready for what really happened. This was not about justice. This was about money, power, and control. Let us go back to where it all started. NBA YoungBoy was facing serious federal gun charges, multiple probation violations, and other accusations that could have sent him to prison for decades. The government was not playing. They wanted him locked up for good. For months, his lawyers tried everything to get him out. They pushed for bail, filed appeals, and used every legal argument they could. But nothing was working. The prosecution had a strong case. The prosecutors had everything they needed to keep NBA YoungBoy in prison. The district attorney was sure of it. They had strong evidence, surveillance footage, wiretaps, witness statements, and financial records. Everything pointed to NBA YoungBoy moving like a kingpin. This case was solid. There was no way out. So, what changed? How did he go from facing more than 10 years in prison to walking out as a free man? Well, this is where things get shocking. Almost overnight, the entire case started to fall apart. Important evidence disappeared. Documents that were supposed to be used against him were either lost, misfiled, or completely dismissed. Witnesses who were ready to testify suddenly changed their minds. Some refused to speak, and some even disappeared. Even the judge, who had been rejecting every appeal, suddenly started delaying court hearings for no clear reason. And in the middle of all this, something even more shocking happened: a mysterious $7 million transfer. Yes, $7 million. According to a leaked banking report, a huge amount of money was sent to an offshore account linked to a private legal entity. And this happened in the same week that NBA YoungBoy's case took a sudden turn in his favor. Now, the real question is, who sent that kind of money? And more importantly, who was it meant for? But who actually received that money? Some people believe that NBA YoungBoy's team paid high-level officials. Others think his record label was behind it. But here is the wildest theory. NBA YoungBoy did not buy his freedom. Someone else did. And now, they control him. Here's the truth: YoungBoy is not just a rapper. He is a money-making machine. His streaming numbers are unbelievable. His record sales always top the charts. Even his YouTube views alone bring in millions every month. If YoungBoy had stayed in prison, do you know who would have lost the most money? His record label, his business partners, and the powerful industry executives who have been making millions from him for years. So, what if this was never really about a legal case? What if this was a business move? Because when someone is making hundreds of millions for powerful people, they do not just let him sit in a prison cell. They make moves. They pull strings. They pay for freedom. But in this world, nothing comes for free. And that brings us to the biggest question: what did NBA YoungBoy have to give up in exchange for his release? Think about it. A rapper facing years in prison suddenly walks free, and nobody is talking about it. No major news coverage. No legal experts explaining how it happened. Even his biggest critics are silent. This is not normal. When Bobby Shmurda came home, the entire industry celebrated. When Tory Lanez was sent to prison, it was headline news for weeks. But with YoungBoy, nothing. This silence is strange. Because when a huge story is hidden instead of being all over the news, it usually means that someone powerful does not want the truth to get out. And if YoungBoy's freedom came at a price, What if he is no longer in control of his own career? What if his next songs, his next moves, and his next collaborations are all being decided by the people who got him out? Because let us be real, if someone spent millions to free him, they're expecting something in return. And here is where it gets even darker. Have you ever heard of industry sacrifices? People have talked about this for years. The idea that when an artist reaches a certain level of success, they have to give up something to stay at the top. Some rappers lose their freedom. Some lose much more. Some rappers lose their money, and some lose their lives. Now, I am not saying that is what happened here, but NBA YoungBoy's release is just too perfect. It is too smooth, too well-timed. And if there is one thing we know about the music industry, nothing ever happens this easily. So what happens next for NBA YoungBoy? Will he come out and tell the truth? Or will his music, his message, and even his personality suddenly change to match what the industry wants? Because one thing is very clear, he is not the same YoungBoy who went in. If he had to give something up to walk free, then he might still be trapped, just in a different kind of prison. And if you think this is the end of the story, you are very wrong. Because in part 2, we will uncover who really made this happen, what YoungBoy might have sacrificed, and whether he is truly free or just another artist under someone else's control. The truth is bigger than you think. If you believe that NBA YoungBoy just got lucky and walked out of prison, then you have not been paying attention. This was not luck. This was a carefully planned move. Somebody with real power made sure he got out. The real question is, who? And even more importantly, what do they want in return? Let us break this down, because this goes deeper than anyone realizes. Remember that strange $7 million transaction? The one that just happened to go through right before YoungBoy's case suddenly fell apart? Well, that money did not come from his personal bank account. It did not come from his lawyer's office either. No, this money came from somewhere much bigger. Somewhere so powerful that they can quietly move millions and make legal cases disappear overnight. And if you follow the money, all signs point to one place, the music industry. Because let us be real, NBA YoungBoy is not just a rapper. He is a business. He is an investment. His music alone brings in tens of millions every year. His influence is massive. His name makes too much money for the industry to just let him sit in a prison cell. So the real question is not just how he got out, it is what happens next. Because if powerful people helped him walk free, then they will want something in return. And that is where things get really interesting. So, let us say you are a big music label boss, an investor, or someone with power behind the scenes. One of your top artists is in jail, facing serious time. Do you just sit back and watch your biggest moneymaker waste away? No, you do not. You take action. You make calls, pull strings, and do whatever it takes to protect your investment, even if it means bending the rules. Because if NBA YoungBoy had stayed in jail, a lot of rich and powerful people would have lost money. And if there is one thing the music industry hates, it is losing money. But here's where things get really strange. After YoungBoy was released, something felt different. His energy was not the same. His interviews felt off. Even his music started to sound different. Think about it. YoungBoy was always the one who refused to follow the music industry's rules. He never cared about award shows, he avoided big interviews, and he did things his own way. But after getting out, suddenly he is signing deals he would have never signed before. Suddenly, he is being more careful, like someone is controlling his every move. And this is not just a coincidence. Because when the industry saves you, they own you. And if YoungBoy's freedom was bought, then that means he is no longer fully in control of his own career. This is not even the first time we have seen something like this. If you look at some of the biggest rappers who got in and out of legal trouble, you will see a pattern. Some go to jail and never come back the same. Some go in and never come out at all. And then there are some who come back bigger than ever, but only after making a deal. And deals like that always come with a price. Now, let us talk about what YoungBoy might have given up to get out. And let me warn you, this part is not pretty. In the music industry, there is a rule that nothing is ever free. When an artist reaches a certain level of success, they have to give up something. Some lose their freedom. Some lose their close friends. Some lose their whole identity. Now, I know what you might be thinking, this sounds like a crazy theory. But let me ask you this. Why is it always the artists who refuse to follow the rules that suddenly change after facing legal trouble? Why do so many rappers get caught in big cases, only to be suddenly released and start acting differently? Because let us be honest, the case against YoungBoy was strong. The feds had real evidence. They had wiretaps. They had witnesses. And then, just like that, it all disappeared. That does not happen unless someone powerful steps in. So, the real question now is, what is next for NBA YoungBoy? Because if history has taught us anything, it is that rappers do not just walk free without a price. And sooner or later, that price has to be paid. If you think NBA YoungBoy walked free without consequences, you are wrong. His next moves will tell us everything. If he starts working with artists he never worked with before, if his music sounds different, or if he stops talking about certain things, then we will know. We will know he is not in full control anymore. Because this was never just about justice, it was about business. And in the last part of this story, we will reveal the hidden people behind the music industry's biggest secrets, the dark side of record deals that nobody talks about, and the real reason why YoungBoy may not be as free as we think. Because in this industry, freedom is never free. And if YoungBoy had to make a deal to get out, he may have lost much more than just his career. Now, this is where things get serious. If you think YoungBoy just got lucky and walked free, you are not paying attention. We already talked about how his case suddenly fell apart, how important evidence disappeared, and how strange money moves happened at just the right time. But now, the real question is, who made this happen? And more importantly, why? Because in the music industry, nothing happens by accident. Especially when it involves someone as powerful and unpredictable as NBA YoungBoy. Most people think when a rapper gets locked up, it is all about the courts, the lawyers, and the legal system. But YoungBoy's case was different. The way everything changed overnight, the way evidence was removed, and the way he was released when nobody expected it, that is not normal. And if you follow the money, if you look at who benefits the most from YoungBoy being free, all signs point to one place, the music industry. Let us be honest. NBA YoungBoy is a money-making machine. Whether you like him or not, his fan base is one of the most loyal in the game. His numbers are unbelievable, billions of streams, millions in revenue, and a brand so strong that he does not even need industry support. And that was the problem. Because when an artist becomes too powerful on their own, the industry does not like that. They do one of two things, either they destroy you, or they control you. And with YoungBoy, they made their choice. They decided to control him. And here's where it gets even deeper. The industry knew they could not leave YoungBoy locked up. Even from jail, he was still making an impact. His fans were still loyal, and his influence was only growing. So instead of letting him go fully independent and uncontrollable, they made a deal. And this was not just any record deal. This was something much bigger. Because when the industry saves you, it is never for free. And if YoungBoy's freedom came at a cost, then the real question is, what did he have to give up? When someone gets out of a legal case like this, it is never that simple. There is always a price to pay. And YoungBoy might not even realize that he has just made the most dangerous deal of his life. Now, let us talk about what this freedom really cost him. Because nothing in this world comes for free. The moment YoungBoy stepped out of that courtroom, his life changed. But this time, he is not the one in control. This is how it works when an artist takes a deal like this. Every move is decided for them. The music they release? Not fully their choice. The people they work with? Already planned. Have you ever noticed how some rappers suddenly start acting different? How they change the way they talk, the way they move, the things they say. It is not by chance. Some of them start pushing messages they never talked about before. Some stop speaking on certain topics. Some even lose friendships and relationships because of the industry. At that point, they are no longer just artists. They become something else. And if you look at YoungBoy since his release, you will see the signs. He has been much quieter. His energy feels different. He is not making the same kind of headlines as before. And trust me, that is not a coincidence. So where does this lead? that is the scary part. What happens next? History tells us that stories like this never end well. YoungBoy was too powerful to be left alone, too independent to be ignored. And now that he is back, he is in deep. The industry does not do favors for free. Sooner or later, they will come to collect. Now, there are only two choices left for him. He can follow the plan they have for him. Do what they say. Keep making music, but never step out of line. Or he can try to fight back. But if he does, the industry will turn against him. More legal problems. More roadblocks. More trouble. And we have seen it before. Rappers who try to fight the system almost never win. So now, the real question is, what is YoungBoy going to do? Because yes, he is out of jail. But is he really free? Or has he just stepped into a new kind of prison, one controlled by the industry? Because one thing is clear, when the system saves you, they own you. And whether YoungBoy knows it or not, he may have just made the most dangerous choice of his career. What do you think really happened? Was YoungBoy's release part of a bigger industry plan? Is he now under their control? Or was this all just a strange coincidence? Tell me what you think, because this story is far from over. And if you want to know more about the truth behind the music industry, make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on your notifications. Trust me, this is just the start. But listen, this is not the end of the story. If NBA YoungBoy really made a deal with the industry, if he is now stuck in a system that controls him, then this is only the beginning of something much bigger. Remember my words, we are going to see some shocking things happen in the next few months. The real question is, will YoungBoy follow their rules, or will he take a risk and fight back? Because we have seen what happens to artists who try to go against the system. Their careers are ruined. Their albums never come out. Their legal problems return. And something tells me YoungBoy is not done making noise. So I want to hear from you. Do you think YoungBoy gave away his freedom? Was this whole case planned from the start? Or is he really in control of his own life? Tell me your thoughts in the comments right now. And if you want to know more about what is really going on in the music industry, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an update. Because the next part of this story is coming fast, and when it does, we will be right here to talk about it. Stay tuned. Stay ready.